All right, good evening, everyone. So tonight we're going to talk about the portion of Kedoshim, and we're also going to talk about the new moon of Taurus because we're still in the new moon of Taurus before sunset. So the portion of Kedoshim, which means holy, and it opens with a very powerful statement. It says, God says, you should be holy because I am holy. And after that, there's a whole bunch of laws that are supposed to, or presumably, teach us about holiness. But the problem is that the list doesn't make sense. If you've actually read the portion, the list is weird. Like, how do we achieve holiness? And we might expect to see that the laws teach us how to pray, or how to meditate for hours, or, things that seem spiritual or holy. But instead, what do we get? We get laws about a sacrifice. We get laws about taking care of the poor. We hear about crossbreeds of animals, and there's laws about not stealing or lying. There's a long list of unpermitted sexual laws, and there's laws about not cheating in business. Okay, that's all of the laws, and all of these laws are supposed to teach us how to be holy. And it's a little weird, right? So if we need to talk about what holy is. And if we go back to the end of the portion ends with, you should be holy to me, for I, God, am holy, and I've separated you from the nations to be mine. So is it possible that holy is somehow related to separateness? This is like a first time thing, right? That the holiness of Israel comes together with them being separated. Because in the Bible, a lot of times it talks about holiness in connection with the Exodus from Egypt. Like if you look at one of the verses, it says, I shall be holy among Israel. I am God who makes you holy, who took you out of Egypt to be your God. And in fact, this connection between holiness and separation shows up all the time. Because if you look at it, the Mishkan, the tabernacle, also, you can read about it in the portion in English. It has two sections, right? It has the Kodesh, the holy, and the Kodesh HaKodeshim, the holy of holies. Two separate areas. And God says there was a special curtain that separated between these two sections. So then there's the holy and the holy of holiness. So there's a lot of talk about separating something that's holy. And then there's also the sanctification of the high priest, right? Also described as Aaron was separated so that he could be holy. So really, who cares? Because what are we doing today with it, right? Because let's say I decide that this book is holy. I have to separate it from all the other books because I'm making it holy, right? But that makes sense. Because if we want something to be holy, it's not like everything else, right? Makes sense? Yes? No? Okay. So it's talking about how are we separate? How is the people of Israel, or a person who's spiritual, separate? And if you look at the first time that the Bible mentions separation, it's going back to the beginning, to Genesis. And it says, God blessed the seventh day, and he made it holy. For on that day, God rested from all the work of the creation that he had done. So right away, what do we have? We have the seventh day, we have Shabbat, which is separated from the rest of the 6 days. So God created and made the world in 6 days, and on the seventh, he stopped. He separated that day from the others. And in doing that, he made that day holy. And look, and if you've experienced Shabbat before, how do we bring in the Shabbat, and how do we end the Shabbat? We bring the Shabbat by sanctifying it, by lighting candles, and we end the Shabbat by doing Havdalah, which is a candle, which is a connection that separates Shabbat from the rest of the week. Because it's the holiness and then the rest of the week. So what was going on, if you think about it, on the 7 days of creation? Before the universe was born, let's say, there was nothing and there was everything, right? Everything was one. That everything was the creator, was God. And when God chose to create us, what did he do? He made a little place in the world for us, right? It's God's world. And in the existence of the endless, there's no time, there's no space, there's no motion, there's nothing. It's all one. But for us to exist, the Creator had to separate between his space and ours. So he created, if you can think about it, like a little apartment in the world for us so that we could be there, so that we could exist. And whenever someone makes a place for themselves, like think about it. Let's say you in ancient times, I don't know, you're in a plain, in a field, right? Let's say the beginning of time, and the pilgrims, the whoever. They're in a field, they get to a place, what's the first thing they do? They build a home. They build a boundary. They build a separation so that they could live wherever they want, but ultimately there has to be a place. So they build a home. Like if you're on acres and acres of space, but you can't just settle there with nothing. You have to build something. You can't unpack your things in the middle of a field, right? You have to build a house. So the boundaries and the separation is what makes you separate from your neighbor, right? This house is separate from that house. It's a boundary. Yes, everybody with me? Okay. So in the act of great kindness, the Creator actually gave us independent life in this world, and the final separation was that he gave us freedom, right? Gave us freedom to exist. He stopped creating, and he created a place for us where we could thrive on our own. So holiness is about creating a place. One of the things that holiness is about creating a place for others. Creating a space for others. Because when the Creator says, I'm holy, it means I built a place for others to exist. When the Creator says, be holy because I'm holy, in that I separated you from other nations, he's saying, you were once slaves in Egypt, and I took you out, I freed you, and created a place for you to exist, and now you have a special job to do, a special destiny. But you've been separated. And with that in mind, we might be able to understand that to be holy because I am holy, God created a place for others, for us, so we too could make a space for others in turn. And then come all the laws that we read about in the portion. But first to understand what was done. So first we're told, what are the laws that come after? After we've understood that there's a separation of boundaries. Because even if we talk about being one, there still has to be boundaries, right? You're not going to go sleep at your friend's house without, can you imagine just going in at night into someone's house and going to bed in there? It's a little weird. So what's the first thing we're told about in the portion? We're told about Shabbat. And to understand that the Creator completed his creation and made a place for us. Then we're told not to violate the space of others. It says, don't steal. What are you doing when you steal? You're going into someone else's space and taking from them. So you essentially destroy the boundaries between you and him. There's no mine and yours, there's only mine. Right? If you're stealing, that's what you're doing. Therefore, we're told that we have to be honest. We have to be honest, and it talks about balancing and weighing, because we need to be honest in business. If we're able to charge someone exactly what we're supposed to, and not more than that, then you're keeping yourself from crossing a boundary, to take something that doesn't belong to someone else, to take something that isn't yours. So you show respect for someone else and for someone else's space. That's about being holy. And while you can't violate the space of others, at the same time, you have to create a space for them to be in. Not just the negative, but also the positive. The separation is bringing the positive and making sure that we don't cross the boundary of the negative. So it says, don't reap the corner of the field and don't collect that which fell during the harvest. What does that mean? That when they go into the field, if something falls, you leave it for the poor. You leave it for someone to pick up. So holiness isn't just about being holy in the way that we think of praying or meditating or being kind. It's about allowing others to have their space, the same way that the Creator made a space for us to be in. And even more than that, it's to understand that if we violate a space of someone else, like on the simplest level, we haven't respected the Creator because the Creator created everyone. And if we violate that, we're violating the Creator. We're kind of taking, imagine that, Eliyahu uses the example of the paintbrush, right? Imagine if Leonardo da Vinci had, or one of the painters had a paintbrush, and the paintbrush all of a sudden decides to do something on its own. It's a little weird, right? It's because it's the brush. So we're taking the brush out of the Creator's hands, and we're editing, we're doing whatever we want. But really, this is where the holiness comes in. The holiness comes in is when we understand that a partnership between us and the Creator is to respect other people, to respect their boundaries. Yes, it's important to help the poor. Yes, it's important to do praying and meditating. But really, what's holiness? Holiness is when we can understand that we were put here, and if we are like the Creator, which is what it says in the portion, then the Creator gave us space to thrive, obviously with boundaries, and those are the boundaries that keep us holy. And that's why there's so many laws after that. And I wanted to go in, but I'd rather focus on the month of Taurus before the sun goes down. So any questions about this before we go into the month of Taurus? We're good? Okay. So the month of Taurus, the letters that I wrote there. So the Pei is for the planet Venus, and the Vav for the sign of Taurus. We know that every sign was created by every month was created by a star and the sign, a planet and a star. So the Vav was used as a channel for the month of Taurus, and this month basically is the second month of the year. And it says, what I wrote here, Ani Hashem Rofecha, the acronym is, I am the Creator, your healer. And I read something today that was very interesting. So why is Taurus known as the month of healing? It's known as Chodesh Ziv, or the month of radiance, the month of light. And it says that it has the power of healing. And if you look at the initials that I wrote, Ani Hashem Rofecha, it says that in this month, the power of healing. What does that mean? That the most weaknesses and illnesses that happen, do you know where they come from? From foods that do not work with our body. Right? It makes sense. Since a lot of, and people think that allergies come from nature. Allergies don't come from nature. Allergies come from preservatives in food that we cannot digest. That's where allergies really come from. And what happened in this month? In the 15th of this month, the manna. So the manna was the food that they were given in the desert from the Creator. And it says that the manna fell every night. Every person got their own portion. And it tasted like anything you wanted it to taste like. And it was white. And it was radiant and it had light. And so imagine, you want a steak that day, you eat the manna, it tastes like a steak. You want whatever, and that's what it tastes like. So since the manna began to fall during this month, and it was a perfect food, it was something that we could digest, and we didn't have allergies, and we didn't have stomach aches and all that stuff. It resulted that there was no sickness, there was no pain, there was no waste matter, there was not, can you imagine 40 years in the desert, you have to go to the bathroom, but there was not, I always thought about that. But no, seriously, what did they do? Like make holes in the ground? So this manna, this nutrition was just taken into the body with no waste, no pain, no suffering, no allergies, nothing. And it even cured people who were sick. And so that's why in this month, it's the time of healing. Because in this month that's when the manna started falling from the sky. And it says also about this month that the rain that falls between Passover and Shavuot, which is in 5 weeks? Oh man, it's 5 weeks. Is good for curing diseases. Like if you can stand in the rain and open your mouth, and it's good for diseases. It's interesting. So there are several things that happen, like coincidence in this month. And that's why also it has to do with the month of healing. So in this month, there's a lot of pollen in the air. Have you noticed?
What?
Pollen.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of pollen, right? And it's at the highest. And this triggers high hay fever and allergies. And people think, and the pharmaceutical company is going to make you think that the allergies are, watery eyes and stuffed up nose, and it's not normal. Allergies are reactions to irritants. What does that mean? Something foreign in the body is triggering a response of cleansing. Like it wants to come out. Like when you imagine you spray toxic cleanser on the oven, right? Have you ever cleaned your oven and you have to put the easy off thingy and it's disgusting. You can't smell it, right? It's really hard. Or if you smoke, the first time you smoked, you started coughing because it was irritating your body. So these things that happen during this month are actual cleansing. So instead of taking, and I'm the first one because we went yesterday to get a dog. We didn't get a dog yet, but I'm allergic. So I had to take not Benadryl because I would fall asleep. I took Zyrtec or something in the morning. But think about it, if you're allergic to pollen or you're allergic to dust, everyone's allergic to dust, I think. Your nose starts running, you start coughing. It's your body trying to get rid of everything. And when the month of Taurus comes in, everything starts dripping out because the body is clearing itself of all the toxins and it's coming through the lymph system. So better that it comes out and cleanses than staying in. Right? So that's why it's... Now, another fact that I thought was amazing and funny. In Israel, watermelons, melons, and grapes are in season now. And those, if you've ever done it, I don't know if you've ever done it. Have you ever done a watermelon diet or a grapefruit diet? It will clean you. Try it for 3 days. It will clean everything in your digestive tract. And that's what's in season now in Israel, is the watermelons and melons. If you try a watermelon, I know somebody who does a watermelon diet once a month. They'll have watermelon all day for 1 day. I promise you. It will take everything out. Taurus is also the month when the trees grow new leaves and there's many flowers that blossom, and the smell of the molecules of the trees, we know it's something that's all the pollen and the smells, we have it and it goes into our bloodstream. And it actually helps the body. It actually helps the body and the brain work better. So all these things are there to help our immune system. So the month of Taurus is actually the month of healing because of those things. And it says that the Torah was given to the people who ate the manna in the desert. And now we know the Torah was given in Sivan, in a month from now, on Shavuot. And the falling of the manna, which was in preparation for the Torah, was in this month. So the falling of the manna started the 15th of Taurus, and the giving of the Torah was on the 6th of Gemini. So during that time, we had all of the preparation. And that's why also there's the counting. That's something that happens every day in the month of Taurus. We're counting. We're getting ready. So this month is also called the month of light. And we can connect it to actually bringing in all of the light. Now, another gift that we were given is the well of Miriam. So while they were in the desert, they had the well of Miriam. They had water. And this is what sustained them. So the two most important things that happened in the desert for survival were in this month: the manna and the well of Miriam. So the water and the actual physical sustenance happened in this month. Now, what also happened in this month? The war of Amalek. What is Amalek? Amalek is doubts. What happens this month? Taurians like to be comfortable, right? They like to fall into their comfort. Once we let go, once we fall into complacency and we think everything is okay, do you know what happens? Doubts. Because we have time. Time is good, but time can also be bad. If you waste time, and I think there was some kind of a research that said that most Americans waste like 70% of time during the day doing nothing. And we think we're doing something, but we're like running after our tails. So doubts, the minute we let go of our spirituality, the minute we let go of what's next, what's my desire, how can I push more, how can I become better, what can I do? That's when the doubts come in. Doubts in ourselves, doubts in the Creator, doubts in other people, doubts in what I'm doing. Doubts is not just doubts in the Creator. Doubts is doubts in everything. And so this is the month that we need to be careful with that. The beginning of the building of the first temple also happened during this month. So what is all of this telling us? It's telling us that this month, if we combine our knowledge and wisdom with actions of physical things and spirituality, we can make amazing things happen this month. This month, I know people say that Taurus is a heavy month, but it really isn't if you think about it. You can get so much done in this month if you're aware of everything that it brings. Because this month you can plant seeds that will grow next month. This is the time that they planted the seeds for the receiving of the Torah. What does that mean for us? We plant seeds. Now is the time. Don't stop. Plant seeds, plant seeds, plant seeds. 5 weeks from now, you'll see everything coming up. You'll see everything happening. Every Hebrew month also has an attribute of a different part of the body. This month is about thinking, because it's the digestive tract, it's thinking inwardly. It's thinking about what we need to focus on. It's about how we define the patterns of ourselves. And that's what defines the patterns of our life. So one of the ways that we can heal ourselves is by being in tune with our thoughts and being in control of them. So before I go on, I want you to think for a second and find 3 positive thoughts that you have in this month that you want to plant the seeds for next month, and write them down, and then we'll just share. 3 things that you want to plant in this month. When you're ready, let's share. Just whoever wants to start can start. Go ahead.
So I wrote, create an amazing UI for my company. So that's user experience. So I'm starting over yet again.
That's good.
But this time I want to just make sure that I really do it the right way and like give it serious thought, but not like hold off on it.
Mm-hmm.
Keep things moving, but be prepared and organized. And then spend quality time with my family.
Nice.
More quality time. And enhance myself spiritually.
Good. Very good. Who's next?
Okay, to become more social, be out there more, and share more with others, and take care of myself and others more.
Okay. Good.
So I had, actually the top thing I have is communicate more consistently with my kids. Develop that level of communication.
Mm-hmm.
The 2 other things have to do with work, which one is develop a structure that works consistently as far as managing property in Houston, and develop flow of business, which means it's not just an initial onesie-twosie, but it develops from onesie-twosies to threesie,
Right.
in a particular direction that I'm starting to develop in.
Good. Very good.
So I've been trying to work on this project at work. It's a mental wellness project that I've kind of been dragging my feet on. So I'd like to get it done this month. And then also I want to plant the seed for embracing spontaneity. I have a set schedule and things don't fit in my schedule. I don't allow it to happen, which I think makes me miss out on really awesome things. And then 3rd is self-care. So I just need to plan a trip, whether anybody would like to come or.
Let's do a girls. Sorry, Alan. Let's do a girls trip.
Like something.
Palm Springs sounds good to me.
Go somewhere.
Okay. Now what I want you to do is write 2 things that you have to get rid of. Like thoughts in your mind that you know are not good for you. And instead of thinking about them, just doing. 2 things, not 3, 2. Okay, whoever's ready.
I'll go.
Go ahead.
Hesitation, procrastination is one. And then the other one is self-doubt, self-confidence.
Important to get rid of. Who's next?
I'm going to steal Alan's. I'm going to get rid of that. And not getting overwhelmed when things don't go my way. Don't get very happy.
Go ahead.
I put fear of making more mistakes or failure. Is that 1 or 2? That's 1. Second thing, I'm going to make the right decision. Letting go of people and situations from the past that are no longer serving me.
But the thing about mistakes is, so what?
Yeah.
You can't not, nobody does not make mistakes.
But now I have fear from.
But then that's,
That's
it's,
like being paralyzed,
it's-
not being able to move forward because I'm like, oh,
it's an easy
yeah.
excuse. It's an easy excuse. We all use it. It's an easy excuse. I'm too afraid. I'm afraid to make a mistake. I'm afraid to say something that will hurt somebody. I'm afraid of not doing the right thing. It's an excuse. That's why I'm saying we have to get rid of it, because that's what stops us from doing things. And if we make a mistake, so what? Like, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? We learn from them. Go ahead. You wanna go? Yeah.
Like self-doubt.
Okay.
When is this name?
Ditto. Okay. So what I want you to do this month is write down every day what kind of thoughts went through your mind and what thoughts were limiting and negative, and try and see how you can turn them around. But if you write it down every day, you'll notice your patterns.
I'm sorry, say again.
Write down every day what thoughts went through your mind and what thoughts were limiting and negative ones. Once you start writing those every day, you'll see the pattern. And you'll see that we all shoot ourselves in the foot because we let those thoughts control us. This month is about controlling our thoughts. And one way of controlling our thoughts is writing them down and seeing, because once you write it down, you actually see what you're thinking. Okay, now some fun things about Taurus. So, Taurus in partnerships, they need peace and they need harmony and they need emotional security. And when they lose that, their possessiveness takes over, meaning they need to be in control. They have to, because if they lose the emotional security and if they lose that sense of peace, Taurus will stay in the mud forever. And they won't realize they're in the mud. And if it gets really bad, it becomes jealousy. And it becomes obsessive jealousy. They're very ambitious. They're great in setting up a plan and following it through till they make it. Like, they won't stop until they make it. Think about the bull. You know, the Taurus is the bull. They'll just keep on going. And if there's anything that involves risk, they can't deal with it. It has to be very, very thought out, planned. There can't be anything. So they would rather have a steady income, no matter what, than doing deals where they can get $1 million in a week. And then the next week they won't have anything. They want something steady. Taurus loves food. So they have to be careful. They have to have a healthy diet. They have to exercise. And it's not a problem for them to do it, but they just need to do it. So dancing, aerobics, fast walking, all those things. I want to do a meditation before we go on. So if you guys can close your eyes. And we're going to take a little bit of time in the meditation because I want you to actually see things. So we'll take longer than usual. And once you open your eyes, I want you to write down everything you saw. Okay, so uncross your arms, uncross your legs. take 3 deep breaths in and out. I want you to start becoming aware of your body, of your head, your eyes, your ears, your nose, your mouth. Be aware of your tongue and your throat. Be aware of your swallowing and your breathing. Your neck, if there's any tension in your neck, try and roll it out a little bit. Your shoulders, try and relax your shoulders from all of the tensions of the day. Feel your arms dropping down to your sides. Feel them heavy dropping. Feel your fingers. You can even wiggle your fingers. Be aware of your body. Feel your chest and all the inner organs. If it's your kidneys, your digestive system, your spleen, your gallbladder, everything inside of you. Go down to your hips, your pelvic area. Feel your legs, your thighs, your knees. Feel if there's any tension in your knees. You can try and loosen your legs a little bit. Feel your shins and your feet, even the bottom of your feet. Be aware of everything in your body. And be aware how it communicates with your mind and your emotions. Feel how they're all connected and how they talk to each other. And now I want you to take your consciousness beyond your body to nature and imagine that you're in a forest with many trees, and there's a little river with flowing water and stones. And feel how alive every stone is, how much life is in the soil, in the plants. Really try and go in deep and feel nature. And now try and extend your mind even further to earth. And imagine that you're earth. Feel the heat of the material at the core of the earth. The hardness of the stones of the rocky mantle. And the thin crust of the earth. That's almost like your skin covering. Try and feel the waters of the ocean, the air of the winds, and the heat of the sunlight. Feel the footsteps of animals. Feel the plants grow from your nourishing crust of the earth and your sun. And at the same time that you're feeling all of the physicality, you know that there's something spiritual beyond that. And that you can live both in the physical and the spiritual. Be aware of all the sensations, all the emotions, of how everything connects. Now you can imagine going back from the earth to that place, that river, that forest that you were in, and sitting there and feeling again the water, if it's flowing across your feet or if you're touching it with your hands. Feeling the life in the stones and in the air. Then I want you to go back to your body and become aware again of your physical body, of your toes and your feet, your ankles, your shins, your knees, your thighs, your hips. You can move around a little bit. Feel your stomach, all your inner organs. You can feel your fingers, your hands, your arms, your shoulders. Be aware of your neck and if it's still hurting you. Your head, your mouth, and your ears, your nose, and your eyes. And you can feel the light going to the top of your head. And when you're ready, you can take 3 deep breaths and open your eyes. And take a minute and write down anything that comes to your mind. If it's what you thought, if it's what you have now in your mind, whatever it is, don't think. Just write it down. Don't judge, don't filter, just write it down. When you're ready, if we can share, if you actually felt something or saw something, or you can share. Who wants to start? Come on, guys. I can edit it out of the video if you want.
We're all shy. I felt the sun shining on me.
Nice.
And the warmth of the sun, and felt bright and energetic and feeling connected to the earth.
How did you feel with your feet? What did you think?
I felt the pain that I have at the bottom of this foot.
No, it's important.
Yeah, I felt it. I mean, I feel it, it depends on what kind of shoes I'm wearing, but I feel it often. It's weird, sometimes I don't. I think maybe when I'm in a better mood,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think about it as much, I don't notice it as much.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, important. All right, who's next?
I felt that time completely stopped, and like a very large sensation of kind of just clarity and like calmness. So regardless if I was sitting or I was part of the earth, I just felt this kind of oneness and this calmness. Amazing.
That's good.
Yeah. I felt very peaceful.
Oh, good. Good. Go ahead, one of you.
I was a bird.
You were a bird? That's good for a Taurus.
And I was watching above the forest, as you were saying, and then I saw the river and all that. And I don't know what you were were saying, but then I saw myself out of the earth, and it was dark on one side, and I was looking at the earth on the side, I don't know.
Good.
And you said sun, I was trying to see how the sun is hitting the earth, but it was on the other side.
That's funny. That's good. Go ahead.
I just thought it was amazing when you start realizing how everything's so interconnected.
Right.
And one little thing, one little ship kind of ripples all the way from beginning to end. And it's like all these different ripples that go back and forth. That's all I have.
Yeah, that's amazing. Okay, now I want you guys to share with me your experiences with Taurus. Does anybody have Taurus besides Faye? Does anybody have Taurians in their life? Yes.
I like Taurus.
Tell me things that you've experienced.
I'm a Cancer, and like.
Oh yeah, you
I've
get along with.
dated, I don't know, I would say quite a couple of Taurus men. My best relationships have been with Taurus men. I don't know, I think like.
Earth and water.
It's a compliment, and it's like to one another, and they're very like chill, laid back, but we both like the same things, you know, like the comforts of home and good food, and they're very like particular about themselves, like very well put together. I like that. I appreciate that. And like very even tempered, just very.
Oh, you never got them mad.
Like, yeah, just. I don't know, just fun, good sense of humor, funny. I enjoy Taurus, and then I have a girlfriend, a very good friend of mine. She's Taurus, and we're like sisters. I mean, we're like, it's hysterical.
That's good.
We laugh, we joke around, we have the best time. I'm a big fan of Taurus.
Good. There you go. We got PR for Taurus.
Yeah.
What else? Let's hear.
I dated a Taurus.
And it was a nightmare.
It was a nightmare.
Wow.
Yeah, it was very controlling, very, if things were not his way, it was no way.
Wow.
So, but really fun, love to eat, great restaurants, all that stuff. One of my best friends is a Taurus. She's amazing. If it doesn't go in her vision, it's could be a little bit judgy, but very supportive. They're all in. Like if you want to get something done, they're all in. But I don't know. I'm a Sag. Maybe that's where.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, exactly. You're
Star of the show,
fire.
and they want to do the star of the show, so it's a little bit.
You're fire.
Yeah.
Sad. Well, I'm more.
Fire like that.
You're a Sag too?
I'm
Oh.
not sad. I'm not a Sag, but my daughter,
Okay.
youngest daughter is a Sag, and I've got just a picture of what a Sag is.
But fire. Really?
No, just very.
It's a lot about having fun,
Yeah, a lot of fun.
parties.
So I know one Taurus, and he's somebody that I've known for 30-something plus years.
Wow.
And he's one of my best friends. And on the one hand, he's a very caring person, but he wants to care the way he wants to care. Okay, he's not open to coming off to me in order to discover where I'm going.
Right.
So he's busy telling me his opinion and where he's going and why he's going and what he's getting out of it and how that should fit for me. After all, it's fitting for him. And I'm completely off at the other end. I'm like Aquarius.
Oh, you're Aquarius. Okay.
Okay, what was that about?
Nobody's going to tell you what to do.
No, it's also that I'm busy thinking outside the box.
Right.
And I'm thinking way outside, and he's not even starting to look beyond
The walls.
The wall, right? Exactly. So I'm trying to experience all those different things, and he's just interested in experiencing what he does. And there's the food aspect.
Oh,
of things, yeah.
big.
And that's all. That's enough.
Nicole, you got to go before Faye.
I've noticed that they aren't risky, and
Right.
I'm a Scorpio and I'm very risky. So, and then I've
also notice that they're very set in their ways. And if you tell them an idea, they'll like completely, they don't know how to handle it. They can't, they just have like tunnel vision,
Yeah.
which is like opposite of Scorpio.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Okay, Faye, share. you're the example of Taurus.
Well, I have a sister that's a Taurus.
Really?
Maybe I can talk about her.
You're both Taurus. What's your brother?
Yeah. Hers is May 3rd.
And what's your brother?
Huh?
What's your brother?
Oh,
What's
my
him?
brother's Pisces. Oh.
Your poor brother.
And a Gemini. Yeah.
Wow.
But as far as not risk takers, I don't see myself. I see myself more of a risk taker. Well, for most things. So I don't know.
Maybe you have other
maybe
influences that
change along the way. Like,
could be, or other influences. Depends what the rising is and all of that. Because a true Taurus won't take risks, and they'll stay in like a really bad situation, and they won't realize that they're in a bad situation. You know, it's like the people who you need to move, but they want to get stuck in their own mud.
I have a question for you.
Go ahead, yeah, no problem.
On all the stuff that we shared as to what we see in Tauruses, what was or were the aha moments? They actually see that? Do you understand what I'm saying?
yeah, I like to be in my comfort zone.
So what were you surprised that we actually noticed about you that you didn't think we noticed about you?
Like he wants to know. He wants to know what a Taurus realizes that people notice about them without, like, that you don't even know that people are noticing it.
The laziness, the comfort, security, I think, is one of the things that I see in myself. Like, it's very important. I need to know what's going on in the next few months. Like, I have to plan things. And if it's not the way it's supposed to, but the way I see it goes, then I become impatient or irritated, or yeah. So that's something I see myself.
It's really hard. I mean, all of us in our own signs, it's hard. But so we're all made up of all the signs. You know that, right? I mean, most people have at least one of this, at least all of them once in their chart. Unless you are, totally on one. I know a person who has like 6 Virgo and 4 Scorpio and not many of other things, but most of us are built from everything. So the reason why we even study this and we study astrology is so that we can learn how to communicate with each other. Like we just finished Eliyahu's children's astrology book. Hopefully it'll be out in the next couple of weeks. But the reason he did it was because children can learn how to communicate with each other. And so even on a simple level, if you know that Taurus likes comfort, you're not going to push them to go out of their comfort zone because you're going to lose them. So instead of pushing each other's buttons, we can learn how to communicate on a level that it's, because we don't want to hear something about ourselves that we don't like, right? So if we know, if you tell a Sag that they can't go out to have fun, it's a problem.
Yeah.
It's a problem. So if if I told you you have to work 24 hours a day and you can't go out and you can't have fun, you would go crazy. So for a Taurus, it would, to take their bed away or their blanket or their food that they like, or, that's up to here. So it's a better way to communicate with each other. That's why why is it so important every month to know the energy of the month? Because we know people who have that sign. We know what the energy can bring of the month, and we know what we can do to change it. Instead of the heaviness of Taurus, we can go and, for me, this month, I could probably get more accomplished than in any other month. Because it's steady. So if you take the focus of Taurus and the steadiness, use it to actually do something. Use it to plant all those seeds and get things done. Whereas, the next month is air. It's all over the place. And me with my Gemini, I'm all over the place. But this month is the best to actually get things done. That's how I feel. And I think every month, if we learn about the month, not to be, not to use the sign as an excuse. Not to say, oh, I'm a Taurus, so I'm lazy. Because that's just an excuse. But it's about what can we do with it. The tools of the month are so important, not because we need to learn about them just to learn about them. I always say, we need to learn things so we can use them. Because if you're learning knowledge just to have more knowledge and have more knowledge, be an encyclopedia. Be a walking encyclopedia, but that's not going to help. You need to actually do things with the knowledge that you learn. You need to share with someone. If you have one thing that you took away from the class, post it. Post and say, this is what I learned today, this is what I can do. Because then you're sharing. You're sharing with at least 3 people. By posting it, a lot of people will see it. So you're actually doing something. You're actually affecting people around you. You're affecting your community around you. And that's what's important, especially in Taurus, where we need to be able to influence more. We need to be able to affect more. We need to be able to plant more seeds. We need to be able to prepare ourselves for the energy of Shavuot, of receiving of the Torah next month. It's an incredible energy. So, this time of the counting, every day we count a different day up until we get to Shavuot. It's about building our vessel. It's about building our, whatever it is that we want to manifest, this is the time to build it. So it's not just the Omer and Shavuot, it's what am I building? What do I want? And even if you sit down with yourself tonight and say, okay, I have, I don't know how many days left, I don't count, but I have, 40 days left, let's say. Probably less, 30, I don't know. Whatever it is, till June 10th. What do I want to build in these 30 days? What do I want to manifest by June 10th? What is it that I want to get done by June 10th? And then every day, do something else towards that goal. Whatever it is, if it's knowing how to share more with people. So what does that mean on a practical level? What am I going to do on a practical level so that by June 10th, and if you're dealing with something that's taking you off that goal, you're wasting time. Whatever that goal is. And if you can do that for the next 30 days, you can build something that will actually make a difference instead of we're always wasting time, all of us. If you think about it during the day, how much time you waste, and be aware of it. Like I said, write down the thoughts that you have in your mind and see how many negative thoughts you have. Because those negative thoughts are stopping you from getting to your goal. So get rid of it. This is the month of practicality. Taurians are earth signs, it's practical. What can I do practically to fit my goals? And what are my goals? How many goals do I have? How many goals can I actually manifest in 30 days? What am I doing? Am I taking too much to use it as an excuse? Or do I have one goal that will help me then go to the next level? Because if you have 15 goals, you're not going to get them done, I promise you. It's not going to happen. If you have one goal that you want to make it happen, you can't just dream. You have to actually do things. So what did I do today to get closer to that goal? And how much time did I spend wasting or thinking or doubting or not doing? That's what it's about.